Hello, and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terry Morrow, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko. Say hi, Catherine.
Hi, Terry.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Catherine and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week, we're going to jump a little bit ahead in our West Wing watch with the episode Undecideds. But first, So You Think You Can Dance! So, again, this week, the thing that's tops in my mind to say is, wow, that was a lot of dancing. Those were a lot of dances. Those were so many dances that it's hard to remember them all.
I know.
And I am, just watching it. I can't imagine those kids having to learn all that stuff. Those kids, those babies.
Yeah.
Having to learn all that stuff.
So many of them seemed so difficult, like strenuous, just requiring so much strength.
Yeah.
In addition to energy, in addition to technique, just straight up muscles.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Dancing has gotten... I don't know really very much about dancing at all, and most of what I've watched has been either So You Think You Can Dance or Dancing with the Stars, but it does seem like dancing has gotten more strenuous. Mm-hmm. When did it become a thing that everybody can do to just jump up in the air and do a flip?
Right.
Every one of them has that in their repertoire. Yeah. And I'm like, when I took jazz dance back in when I was a kid, you just kind of scooted around the floor and wiggled your hips, Flips were what, the acrobatic classes and, gymnasts did. But now it's like they just do it like it's nothing.
It's wild.
And it looks like a lot of work.
Yes. Certainly. But these are the best dancers to have ever danced a dance in the history of dancing.
So I hear by the judges who, honestly, what function exactly did the judges serve on this episode? Nobody's getting eliminated this week. They were not going to say anything bad about anybody at this point. Everybody, it was just how wonderful they were. I would say we could have just lost that part, but then the kids would have had to learn another round of dancing to fill the time. The function of the judges was for everybody to catch their breath.
Yeah, why did we vote last week? Because they're going to add up, I guess, all our voting day from
I would
this
say
week
so.
And last week, but it just seemed kind of silly that you have a round of voting, but then you don't have anybody eliminated, and then you vote again.
Yeah. I don't know what the point of that. Well, I guess it is that they add the two together. Right. So it will mean something, I suppose. I thought everybody did very, very well tonight. There were no dances that I outright hated. There were some dances that I didn't understand, but, I'm elderly, so that's okay. But they all seem to have been danced well. I still am 110% on Team Bailey. I can't keep my eyes off that little guy, no matter who he's dancing with. There's just something about him. And,
just when you see him do a contemporary routine or a jazz routine and that he's a b-boy, you're just like, how is this? It's stunning.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Although I heard that on one forum, that he went to some performance arts high school, I think, where they learned all different sorts of things. And then on one of the exit interview, I think it was the Dance Room, I think is the name of the podcast. I think Ezra was saying that his dance studio or something had a class in Las Vegas, some sort of teaching event, and Bailey came and was learning as much as he could. So I think he's been, it's not like he just came in off the streets and suddenly was, savant-like, able to pick up all these different styles. He's got some background in them, as I imagine they all do. I don't think anybody goes on this without cross-training very much. Maybe Anna a little bit, because she was saying she couldn't afford all the classes. But, but still, he just does everything so well, and with his own style. There's always a little bit of his stuff thrown in there, and I just enjoy him so much, and he seems like a good dude. I think every eliminated contestant has said that they want him to win, so he must be, as good with interpersonal skills as he is on TV. So, but the other three are very good, and I enjoyed watching them, and under any other circumstances, I would be very happy for them to win, but no. Bailey. Go Bailey.
Gotta be Bailey.
He's just all the adorableness.
Yes.
I was feeling a little, when they did their little, the little packages they had of them talking about their event, about their journey. Gino is talking about his mom and all the things his mom sacrificed and how much it means and all that stuff. And I'm going, okay, so in other words, if you vote against Gino, you hate moms. Well, that's a lot of pressure. And then Sophie and her family, she didn't really have much of a sob story, but she's adorable, and they're all adorable, and they're all blonde. And you know what? Her dad is kind of intense, and I'm a little afraid of what will happen if we don't vote for her, because he looks like he might come to your house and say, who did you vote for? Did you vote for Sophie? Why didn't you vote for Sophie? And then Mariah did her little thing, and she's talking about her dad being in jail and all that. And I'm like, wow, they're really like tugging on the emotion for this, a little emotional blackmail to the audience. And then Bailey did his, and he was just adorable and crying and being cute. And I used to be tiny, and now I'm
a little bit less tiny.
And I thought, okay, well, he still wins.
Yeah.
So
I know. I felt kind of bad after one of Mariah's dances when Dominic said, well, your dad's rooting for you. Like, oh my God, her mom has done everything, and she's in audience. Like,
and also her mom's, I don't know if it's her
fiance.
Fiance also seems to be very involved.
Yeah.
So I think that was an unfortunate thing for Dom to say. Yeah. And, I'll just assume that it was spontaneous, and afterwards he thought, what did I say? Oh man, was that stupid. Yeah. So I hope so. If not, we'll say it for him. Have you landed on your head a few too many times, B-boy? Come on.
Not your best moment.
The judges just were completely a waste this time. Every number was more spectacular than the last.
Yes.
And they just all were. And every now and then they would give a little less enthusiasm, and that was annoying too. So,
right.
But
like the quick step, they were like,
yeah, and the actually Bollywood. Both and the Bollywood. Oh God, that seems like putting a lead weight around somebody to give them Bollywood this week when everybody's supposed to be doing so spectacularly. That's hard, and that's silly looking, and I thought they did just fine.
Yeah.
But I think, there were some dances I liked very much. I thought the one with Bailey and Gino was so cute and so well done. And, there wasn't really anything, like I said, anything that I really hated. But I think maybe my favorite moment of the whole night was at the very, very end. I don't know if you kept it tuned all the way to the end, but they were playing limbo with Mariah's hair.
No, I missed
the four of them. They at the end they couldn't all dance around, and Mariah had this ridiculous long daisy chain of a ponytail for her final number, and they were limboing under it. It was
hilarious.
Adorable.
Oh
yes, so they seem to all be friendly with one another and to be having a good time and wishing each other well.
Right.
So either that is the case, or they are very fine actors.
They're good
because
at
I bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I definitely, during that final hip hop with the two girls, was fully distracted by their plastic raincoat crop tops and the weird, like, underwear outside your shorts that they put
Sophie's
on.
Looked like an old-fashioned girdle that I remember my mom wearing.
Extremely weird.
Yeah, that did not do them any favors, any of that. Though it was a sassy ponytail for Sophie. I don't know what the deal was with Mariah's hair, but I guess those were scrunchies all up and down it.
Lots of scrunchies.
I think that Bailey and Gino got handed a much more appealing package. But, but all the dancing, they're all good. They're all very good. They're all very talented and so young. Have I mentioned that they're young? It still bothers me that they're so young. But Gino was looking particularly fresh-faced this week.
Mm-hmm. And maybe it's because they kept showing his mom.
Yes.
His mom talking about him.
It was actually kind of, you could see all their parents sitting in the audience sort of nearby.
Together,
I think Mariah's mom was sitting next to Sophie's dad. And you certainly saw Bailey's mom and dad quite frequently in their T-shirts. And I think his grandma was there. It's like, that's kind of cool, you know?
Yeah.
The rooting sections and...
right by the choreographers, so the camera only has to go one.
That's right.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, and I like that, you know, seeing that support system, they got all of them where they are. So, I mean, we should be giving the parents and the families rounds of applause as well.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't get to be that good unless somebody is driving you to a whole lot of practices.
Yeah.
Yeah. And competitions and, you know, paying for those ridiculous costumes and, you know, the lessons and everything. So, yay, families. Right. You done good.
Absolutely.
So, next week, I guess we get everybody back to do all their dances. The top 10 back to do all their dances. And, you know, absolutely no stakes because I guess the voting will be done. Although I guess the judges are going to make the final decision.
Really?
I thought there was some. No, maybe not. Maybe they just go with the vote. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, it's been a surprisingly fun season. So, and I like this Final Four all very much.
Yeah, I really like them all too.
Yeah, and Sharna and Artem. You know, Dancing with the Stars has booted them, but here they are on So You Think You Can Dance.
They're like, fine, we'll go do something else.
We'll go choreograph something for kids. And that was a cute number. They did well, I thought.
Yeah.
And, you know.
I like a quick step.
Yes.
Always fun to watch.
Right. Yeah. And, so I still don't see how you can't not just want to pick up Bailey, give him a hug, and award him the prize. But I went and voted my 60 times. Might sneak a phone or two from my family members.
Just to get in a couple more.
That's right. But next week we shall find out the results.
Yes, but
they are all going on to Fame and Fortune.
Right.
So
do not worry.
Actually, I hear Gino is in a cast of the Broadway. I guess there's a Broadway revival of West Side Story, and he already got a role in the ensemble, I'm sure. But so,
all right.
He's got a gig anyway.
Right.
And they all have the tour. So, you go, kids. So, on to the West Wing. We would normally be talking about the live debate episode at this time, except that what was exciting about the live debate episode back in the day was that it was, you know, live. And now it's not. It's just two guys, you know, making scripted remarks about issues. So we got enough of that in our just regular daily life at the moment. And the West Wing Weekly podcast, you know, did 2 episodes on it, one of which was all Lawrence O'Donnell bloviating. And since I have not forgiven him for what he did to Toby and will never, I didn't care to listen to that. And then there was another one with, I guess, debate prep guys who've already had a whole episode. So you know what? We decided we were just going to take that episode off. And that brings us to the following episode, which is Undecideds, which we are going to discuss before the West Wing Weekly podcast gets to it, because next week we have more dancing than we know what to do with. So, with that very long introduction, I now bring to the pulpit Undecideds. This episode had, I would say, 4 subplots going on.
Yeah,
and
there was a lot.
As I watched, I rated them in order of my interest.
Okay, let's hear.
At the very, very tippy top of the interest level, a plot I was extremely interested in, Toby and Josh. Loved that. Loved seeing them together again. Loved knowing that Toby is still alive, even though the show tried to kill him. Little lower on the interest level, Will Bailey Wedding Planner. Joshua Molina bringing the comic relief lately. Love it, love it, love it. when they go through the list of the 738 people that the president is inviting, and then they move on to Ellie's maid of honor, and we'll know she can't come into the country.
Right.
That is gold.
And also when Ellie's fiance, like, he literally gets to Z, to the very last letter of the alphabet, and her fiance's like, no, that's it. That's too far. No, we can't have that one. And it's Z, letter Z.
And it turns out to be somebody she knows.
Yeah, she actually
has
does
to sit back
really
down.
know.
All right, so that was gold. And then quite a bit further down on the interest scale, but still on there, the campaign storyline. You know, is Matt Santos presidential? Take 532. Right. But, okay. And then way down at the bottom at about 0% interest, Kazakhstan. Because I'm pretty sure the West Wing is not going to end with China and Russia nuking each other. So, who cares?
So it's all treading water.
Yeah, it's all just looking like we're important in the White House, yo. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, the time allotted each of these subplots was in somewhat inverse proportion to my interest in them. The campaign might have gotten a little more time than Kazakhstan, but Kazakhstan overlapped with Will Bailey Wedding Planner, got a little extra time that way. So that made it somewhat unsatisfactory to me. I felt like, well, okay, yeah, this stuff is all very important that's going on, but give me a little bit more of that wedding stuff. That was funny. And can we have a little more with Toby and Josh? I really want them talking about this stuff. So, it's as is going to be the case of the show. Its priorities aren't always where I wish they would be. And I do think that the campaign stuff, especially this episode where the discussion between Toby and Josh sets up that last speech that Santos is going to make, has to be the thing that says, yes, he is the guy. He can be president. And then, you get into what will later be called the Studio 60 problem of, if you say these people are brilliant comedians, then you have to write them brilliant comedy to do.
Right.
If you're saying this guy is going to give a speech from the pulpit that will, knock everybody's socks off and make it clear that he's the dude, that puts a lot of pressure on that speech.
Yes.
For those script writers writing that speech to, to deliver. And it was fine. Mm-hmm. I want to know what the direction was for the extras. Because what makes or breaks that piece of script is the reaction of the extras.
Right.
The extras sitting there looking very disapproving. The extras going, mm-mm, when he starts out and is saying things they don't like. Lady wagging her finger in the audience. The choir lady fanning herself with her hymn book. And then, as he goes along, they're starting to nod. They're starting to look, oh, yes, they're starting to call out. And then at the end, there's this clapping and the standing ovation. It's like, you could have just said, Santos says some stuff, because it's the reactions of the 50 or so extras in that church that are making that speech work or not. Mm-hmm. So, a round of applause for the extras. They did brilliant work in selling something that, okay,
right.
It's not really anything more than we've heard on West Wing at any other particular time. Right. So, having said all of that, how'd you like the episode, Catherine?
Yeah, I would agree with you on your order of priorities. I think the Josh and Toby stuff was great. Like, just that, they're both in a bad spot.
Yes.
And they have a complicated relationship to begin with, and then, dropping this in the middle of it and the campaign, and it just is, as a word we like to use, fraught.
It is.
So, and the part where Josh is talking to CJ and he's like, well, did you talk to him? Like, no, she didn't talk to him. Like, she can't talk to him. Like, no. Understand that. She cannot talk to him.
And I love that Josh went there to see him, and then that he went there again. Even though it's not the smartest thing in the world for him either, but there's something, it's like Toby is either the angel or the devil on his shoulder. I'm not sure which, but something that Josh knows there's a piece that he's missing that Toby can provide.
Yeah.
And also they have this incredible history together. And, you know, it's like you can hate your brother, but he's still your brother.
Mm-hmm. Well, like when they had their actual fist fight. You know? Yeah, this is just that kind of continuing. Like, so that was really, you know, something you could sink your teeth into.
Absolutely.
And listen to. Yeah. And get into. And then, you certainly needed the comic relief of Will Bailey walking around holding wedding dresses and talking about Baby Got Back and whether it is appropriate song to be played at the White House.
Yes. I just love it. Yeah, it was so much fun.
And Margaret, you know, like, I don't know why they didn't just let Margaret do everything.
Yeah, you would think. She would be awesome at it.
She was ready.
I would have her plan my wedding. She'd do great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but would not have been quite such a rich mind of... just Will has such a way about him.
Yes.
Handling these things. No, here's a page. Oh, wait, here's another page. Oh, a third page. What, a fourth page? He fumbles.
Exactly. And I did sort of think it was funny. Like, I thought it was going to be sort of common knowledge that she was pregnant, and that's why they were doing this so quickly, but only the guy who was meeting with CJ and Kate, he's like, am I the only parent in the room? He's the one who figured it out.
Yeah.
And then all of the campaign stuff, you know, I thought I liked that they showed how sort of awkward that meeting was with the family of the kid who had been killed, because it was true. Like, there was no good way to handle that.
No.
And, you know, the mom was so gracious.
Yes.
But then her brother, or whoever the other relative was like showing the other side of like why this was not okay.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah. It was, you know, there was no good way to handle that.
No.
So why they wanted to, I mean, I understand why they wanted to maybe have the president come out and be part of that, although I also love Toby knowing CJ's code for like, that's never going to happen.
No. Yeah.
But why Leo would be a good, you know, what this situation requires is an elderly white man. We got one of those on the campaign?
Oh, as a matter of fact, we do. Bring him on out here. Yeah.
That seemed a little weird to me. I didn't quite know why it was important for him to be there, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, you know, campaign stuff. Good episode for Janine Garofalo. She was all over that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she was looking like she maybe wishes she hadn't taken this job.
Right. Well, I did listen to the West Wing Weekly, the second debate discussion.
Uh-huh.
And it was two different people, one Democrat and one Republican, who have prepped a lot of candidates for big debates. And they both talked about how when you're in the green room, you just absolutely want to die. Like, there's it's just the worst, you know, 90 minutes of your life, because there is nothing you can do.
Yes.
You're in the room like, I should have prepared him better for that question.
Mm-hmm.
I should have told him not to ever say that. I should have told him to always say that, you know, like, and I felt a little bit of that with Lou when she was like, I think I'm going to get fired.
Yes.
Just feeling like, you know, I put my foot in it, or I'm not doing my job the way I thought I was, or that I want to. So,
among the many, 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 many reasons I would never want to be involved in a political campaign.
Yes.
Life is too short, y'all. I was happy to see the debut of the Helen Santos bun. I've been waiting for that hairstyle for a long time. I think I mentioned at the beginning that she had a pretty barrette at the beginning, and I said, oh, but that's going to go away, and she's going to be wearing buns. And then she hasn't been wearing buns. The bun is here. We have achieved bun. We will be seeing a lot of that.
Makes her
if I remember correctly. Yes.
That's her first lady look.
It is. It definitely is. She's dressing for the job she wants.
There you go.
So that's what
if she wants it.
If she wants it. Well, I think at this point she wants it.
Right.
There's a lot of water under the bridge now. If we've done all this and now we're going to lose,
right,
then that's completely ridiculous. So,
exactly.
I always like it when they have her around. You know, nice to see Terry Polo getting a paycheck, and also just sort of humanizes the candidate a little bit.
Yeah, I like their relationship. It is, and it does echo the Bartlett marriage
very much. So. Yes, in its own way. So that is, I guess that is, are we undecided as to whether we're done talking about Undecideds, or are we firmly in the column of we've said what we have to say?
I can say I'm done.
Okay. All right. Next week on the West Wing, we will not be discussing the West Wing. Next week, we will be discussing So You Think You Can Dance, as it has its final episode, and Dancing with the Stars, as it has its first episode, which, come on, guys. Why is that necessary? I realize you're on two different networks that hate each other, but still, it's the same production company, I'm pretty sure. Could they not just throw us a bone?
Yeah.
So anyway, we will be saying goodbye, or saying congratulations to whoever wins So You Think You Can Dance, and happy tour to everybody else. And then we'll be saying hello to a variety of Dancing with the Stars contestants. Can't necessarily call them all stars. Dancing with Stars contestants, some of which have gotten a little negative publicity for the show, and some of which I am quite looking forward to seeing. So that will be it for today's round 2. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Catherine.
Bye, Terry.
Goodbye, everybody.